we made it. So, welcome to the second episode of Fiercely Made Fit with Tiana B. I'm your host, Tiana B. And today I have a guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Elizabeth Wangugi, a yoga teacher and weight loss success story and TikTok influencer, all the things.
We love to hear it. We love to hear it. So if you guys remember from the first episode, the premise of this podcast basically is empowering women everywhere, interviewing different women, getting their stories, and just really wanting to reach out to other women and embrace the fact that it's never too late to start, So we're going to go ahead and turn to Elizabeth here and just ask her a few questions. So first to start, what motivated you to get started with all of this?
I have always been driven. And what had happened, this was back before COVID. And it happened usually the way it always starts, which is I got dumped and I wanted to get the revenge bod just to be petty. And I was, working to lose my weight. And the same thing sort of happens every year, and it maybe happens for other people who have struggled with obesity, but every year my birthday just so happens to be in March. So every year I would make a New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose my weight, blah, 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 blah. And then, you go for it. Usually Quitter's Day is in January, but sometimes you can make it for the long haul.
Oh, absolutely.
But my birthday's in March, and I love birthday cake and scotch.
Oh, that's right. Everyone has their thing.
Yeah, I love birthday cake and scotch. And so, every year around that time, I just sort of let it die.
Right.
And then exactly 2 weeks after that, in 2020, the entire world shut down.
Right.
So essentially what had happened was every excuse that I'd ever had to not do it was just taken right out of my hand. All the bars closed, all the fast food places closed. I had always said that when I had enough time and money, I would really address my weight problem.
Right.
And I was really so lucky. I was one of the lucky ones to keep my job over COVID. And I had the time and I had the money and there was nothing else to do. And I really, really got to it.
Right.
And it was incredible. It went from being, diet and exercise to biochemical engineering and, lifestyle management. And it turned into this whirlwind romance between me and myself.
Right. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. I love to hear it. No, I love background stories. It leads to so many new things in the future. So I think that's wonderful. I'm gonna look at my notes for a second. Y'all bear with me. So, are there any goals that you've had in the past? Like when you first started, did you make any goals? And since then, have those goals changed?
Yes. Still to this day, I'm working on my last 30 pounds. I've lost 120.
And that's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you. I've done the majority of the work, but I want to set out to become a finisher. That is something that doesn't just pop up in my weight loss journey, but like the rest of my life. It's really, and I don't want to speak from the perspective of a diet coach. I'm not a diet coach. I am not a weight loss coach. I am simply a yoga teacher. But having had my own weight loss journey, I can say that whatever happens in one area of your life usually happens in all of the rest of them too. And so one of the things that I was sort of really bad at originally was starting a project and just never finishing it. And starting many projects and never finishing any of them. And so it became less about, I want to lose the last 30 pounds and more about, I want to become the kind of person who does all of the things that she says she's going to do.
Absolutely.
I'm not a half-asser. I'm a whole asser.
I know that's it. I'm taking that one. That is now in my vocabulary.
Yeah. I want to be a finisher. Yes. I'm not overly competitive, but it is a competition between me and myself. Absolutely. And I want to prove to myself that I can stick to something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course. No, absolutely. I really admire that, because I will say that even for myself, like, I have wanted to do so many things, and it led to me just half-assing it. That's basically it. I didn't feel like there would be a certain point where I didn't feel like accomplished, and I'd be like, you know what, it's not even worth it anymore. So,
and that happens. That happens to all of us.
It's totally understandable. You know what I mean? That is totally acceptable. But sometimes you just got to kick yourself back up and like let's get the show on the road. So I get it.
Yeah,
I do. So in your lifetime, that this whole health, wellness, all of that, have you had any roadblocks? Like, what has paused you or even stopped you in your tracks for a moment before you continue going on?
Myself. I often get in my own way. Mm-hmm. I do it less now, especially now that I've been on this journey, where I don't really let fear and details get in my way too much. That will stop you finishing any project. Fear of details and fear and details. Right. But I think one of the things that I'm really working on right now is how can I make this the rest of my life? Mm-hmm. I fell into something that I loved. Like love. Right. I'm allowing yoga to just take all of me.
Right.
And I want to make this a career, and I want to do it for the rest of my life. And so finding a way to do it sustainably, where I can do it in my 60s and 70s, finding a way to do it like in stability, to be, I don't really necessarily want to claw towards success, but being financially stable enough that I can make yoga a career. Right. It is difficult. I'm still in the thick of it, but it's also fulfilling. Like, right. One of the principles of classical yin yoga is that the obstacle or the challenge is something you're allowed to sit in. Right. And be it and be okay with it. And we call it, tension and uncomfortability. So classical yin yoga is something that is not like, you don't see this on TV where you're doing downward facing dogs and you're moving in a flow. This is often pictured with women lying like prostrate and in stillness. And it's a practice of, can you be okay in uncomfortable stillness? Right. Can you be at peace in tension and in challenge? So yes, I've definitely had obstacles. Right now, just to be specific, I'm working on a yoga retreat, and sales are not where I'd want them to be. Right. But that is just a detail. And I can sit with that, and I can learn how to get right in that area.
I love that. I really, I know this is the first time we're meeting, so I really admire how open you're being right now. And, I can say for myself, I don't like being uncomfortable. I don't like being uncomfortable. So the fact that's like a pillar is learning how to be uncomfortable and stillness. It's just like, I know that would be a challenge for me for a fact. Like that's, yeah, but the fact that so many people can't overcome that is, it takes a lot. I'm sure it takes a lot, because
it makes you feel itchy all over.
It does. Yeah. It kind of gives me like a chill, because it's just like learning to be okay with stillness and learning to find a way to be comfortable in uncomfortable. that's like going through a maze to me, in my opinion. That's like going through a maze. So, props to you for sure. Like I like, oh, to say the least, to say the least. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next question. We talked about any goals that have changed before. So do you have any goals moving forward? Like, I know that you said that you wanted to be able to do this like in your 60s and 70s. Do you have any more goals besides that?
Longevity. To be in my 60s and 70s. We as African American women are not as supported in our health as I would like.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's the best way I can say it. That part of my health journey is realizing that the system was set up for me to be super fat and sick and mentally unhealthy.
Absolutely.
I get really passionate about that.
And yeah, please express that.
Yeah. And so longevity is the goal. Healthy Black women in America in their 60s, 70s, and 80s is the goal. Angela Bassett is the goal. Listen.
That's it.
We want to be, and not just Black women, but women who are minorities in America.
Yes.
Their health is not supported.
Yes.
Not as well as it could be. There is something I can do about that. And I'm choosing to. And it has not, it has more to do with my own health journey than any other woman. But I know for a fact I'm not the only one. I can't be alone in this. Like, there's no way.
There's no.
So, longevity. To be able to have a healthy, active lifestyle where I have a loving practice with my physical body. And to be able to do that with other women of color well into our 80s even.
Right.
That's the goal. That's the only goal.
I love it. When you said Angela Bassett, I'm so that struck a nerve because like I've always like she's what, almost like 70 or something.
She's in her 70s.
She's in her 70s.
I'm pretty sure. Please don't. If she's not, oh my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, oops. But she is up there in age, and the fact that she looks so youthful and just she's prospering and she's comfortable with her age. It's something that a lot of people don't get to experience.
Not just youth, vitality.
Right.
When I wake up in the morning, I know the chorus of every Black woman is, I'm tired, but I gotta. I'm tired, but I gotta.
Yep.
Vitality, energy, having the ability to be like, I'm up out of bed. Let's do this. Let's face life. Let's do this. Absolutely. With power and with energy. That is the goal.
That's the goal.
That's the only goal.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So, as of right now, we're kind of slowly getting towards the end of the episode. So, gonna give her a few more questions, and then she's gonna go ahead and give any advice, anything, like any 2 cents that she'd like to. So, let's go ahead and get to the last few questions. How has all of this yoga, just being who you are, being who Elizabeth is, how has that impacted not only your physical well-being, your physical health, but your mental health as well?
Okay. That's a good question. Becoming Elizabeth is actually the story of, so my full name is Leah Elizabeth Wangugi. Professionally, I'm known as Elizabeth Wangugi, and I'm in the middle of this transition where I'm dropping my first name. My first name, and I don't want to dead name Leah, but my first name encapsulates all that I'm letting go of in my life, and that it's really the reconciliation of my life and being okay with the changes, the progress, like being okay with being proud to see my own progress and not like looking away from my own progress.
Right. Absolutely.
Ask the question again. Did I get it wrong? I'm sorry.
No. You don't have to apologize at all. So just how has all of this impacted you mentally and physically?
I'm a completely different person. I'm letting Leah slip away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm becoming Elizabeth.
Right.
She is an adult woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really okay with letting like things that were part of my childhood go, which is hard for a millennial sometimes. Yeah, like it's so. Talk about the tension and uncomfortable.
Right.
But yeah, just being like a grown ass, boss ass, adult woman who has autonomy.
Exactly.
You know, who can advocate for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Who, you know, really takes ownership of my decisions and my actions.
Right.
I'm becoming a completely different person, and I'm not shying away from that at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't.
And there will be a lot of people that I let go of, and I think that's my only advice. If you decide to transition, you might get lonely because there will people you have to let go of. But man, the people who come into your life, like, wow, like just this, you know?
Yes.
The way that the universe will, like the algorithms be algorithming. Listen, like the algorithms be algorithming. Like you put your intention into the universe, sucks to be you because the universe is going to give you what you ask for. Mm-hmm. But allowing parts of you to go away and the new parts of you to become solid, that's
good. So we're pretty much into the closing portion. So I know you said it's going to get lonely out there. And I want to kind of piggyback off of that. You know, I'm 21 years old and I have gone through my metamorphosis, you know, and that's not to say it only happens once, because I can say for a fact that I've changed several times to become the Tiana B that I am now. So, and I know that's going to happen again in the future. It's just a matter of when and where. Don't know. But when it comes, I'm going to embrace it. So that's my piece. But do you have any other advice or tidbits or 2 cents, anything you'd like to say to the audience?
A little bit is enough. In fact, only do enough. If you burn yourself out, you're hurting your own feelings. But as long as you are consistent enough and kind enough, you know, and brave enough, you can change your whole life. My first 50 pounds of my 120 pounds literally was just 15 minutes of walking every day and changing one meal into a salad every day. Right. And that was it. I still binge ate every weekend, drank all the time, like went out to take out like every night, but I just ate a salad for lunch every day because lunch at work doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So it might as well just be a salad. And I went for walks with my dog because COVID was a perfect time to get out in the park.
Absolutely.
And I dropped 50 pounds in a year. And it didn't take much. It was just enough. Just enough.
I love that. Because COVID had such an impact on the entire world. So the fact that you were able to turn such a negative and heart-wrenching thing into something positive for yourself is amazing. And I'm proud of you. Congratulations on such a successful journey. And I know that in your future, it's just going to lead to so many more amazing things.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Can I throw some pluggables? Is that okay?
Please.
I do have a gift for you.
Oh, for me?
So I am hosting a BPOC Women's Yoga Retreat, and this is Black girls only, all y'all. We're going to Nairobi, Kenya.
Okay.
We're going to a place where we are the majority, and we will feel like it. Mm-hmm. We're going to a place where Black women's bodies are the universal standard for care and for beauty. Mm-hmm. So it'll be 1 week, gentle yoga for literally any level. If you've never done yoga before in your life, perfect. I am a perfect yoga teacher for you because I've only been teaching yoga for a couple of years. Mm-hmm.
There we go. Beginner friendly.
Yeah, I'm very beginner friendly. I've been practicing for 20 years, but but I've been teaching for just a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this brand new body. I have all these brand new like bits that I'm still discovering. Come discover with me.
Right.
So I'm doing events all over Columbus. Follow exclusive excursions. Follow Elizabeth Wangugi on Facebook, and follow Elizabeth Wangugi on TikTok. All my TikTok people who are following my live, I love y'all. It's been such an incredible pleasure. And yeah, come tell your story on retreat. I would love to have you.
That sounds amazing. Seriously, I would have. This is, like I said, this is the first like actual episode. So this turn of events has just been a blessing, and I'm so glad that everything aligned perfectly for us to meet, because this has been an experience, and I'm so glad to have you on the show. And with that, this is the closing of this episode. Thank you all so much for listening. You can find this podcast on Spotify with Fiercely Made Fit with Tiana B. You can find it on YouTube, Fiercely Made Fit. Go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, share. Please get this to anyone who you think it will benefit. If it'll benefit you, please listen, join us.
Black girl follow trend. You just heard what she said?
Come on. Follow me on Instagram, Fit with Tiana. Don't remember my TikTok. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll give it to you. Seriously, thank you so much, Elizabeth. It has been a pleasure.
I love y'all. Namaste. Peace. This was great.